Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a scenario that feels, well, almost like a riddle. What happens when you have this brilliant scientific formulation, really meticulously crafted for maximum effectiveness, but it just collides head on with a company whose real world execution seems to operate in, I don't know, a dimension we can only describe as like profoundly, maybe even aggressively chaotic. Our mission today for you is to navigate this fascinating contradiction. We're dissecting the microingredients turmeric supplement. Is it, supplement genius? Or maybe a cautionary tale of marketing madness? We're going to unpack the really compelling science behind its claims of superior absorption. And then we're going to dive, maybe unblinking is the word, into the surprisingly stark realities of the company's delivery and customer experience. It's a classic tale, isn't it? Potential meeting practicality and all the friction that creates.
It truly is an intriguing duality, really. On one side, you've got a product making some pretty bold claims, 95% curcumoid purity, these ultimate absorption boosters, and it all seems grounded in, well, pretty robust research. But then on the other side, as we'll sort of uncover the operational side of things, it paints a very, very different picture. It suggests that even the most, well-formulated product can dramatically stumble, actually, on the journey from the lab to your doorstep.
Right. Exactly. So let's begin where the potential truly sparkles, with the science itself. When we talk about turmeric supplements, we're mostly focused on that star compound, curcumin. Now, Microingredients claims their product delivers 95% pure curcumoids in its curcumin extract. Just for perspective, typical turmeric root, like the stuff in your spice rack, that usually contains only about 3% curcumin. So that 95% claim, if it's true, represents a massive leap in concentration, a huge leap. It sounds like they're not just selling, powdered turmeric. They're aiming for a highly potent, focused extract. They market it as a 6-in-1 complex, delivering a substantial 1,000 milligram of that curcumin extract.
Yeah, and what's immediately compelling about that 95% claim is the intent behind it. You see, many products out there contain such tiny amounts of active ingredients that, from a therapeutic efficacy standpoint, meaning its ability to actually deliver a real health benefit, they're largely ineffective and, frankly, often overpriced for what you get. So a high curcumoid percentage suggests they're concentrating the key beneficial compounds. It aligns directly with the goal of achieving, real physiological effects. It shows a kind of commitment to delivering a potent dose.
But potency isn't the whole story, right? Especially with something like curcumin, which is, well, notoriously difficult for our bodies to actually use. It gets broken down and flushed out really, really rapidly. So knowing curcumin's absorption challenges, what specific innovations in this formula really stand out, in addressing that problem? What's the key ingredient or method they're using here to get around that?
Okay, this is where the formulation gets genuinely exciting from a scientific angle. The critical innovation here is the inclusion of black pepper extract. Specifically, its active compound, piperine. The scientific findings on piperine are, well, to put it mildly, they're incredibly powerful. Nuclear, almost. Studies show that this piperine from black pepper can increase curcumin bioavailability by a staggering 2,000%.
Wow, hang on. 20 times more available to your body. That's not a typo. That's astonishing.
How on earth does piperine manage such a dramatic boost? What's the mechanism? It's actually quite elegant, biochemically speaking. Piperine acts as an inhibitor. It basically blocks specific enzymes in your liver and your intestines. These are the enzymes responsible for rapidly metabolizing curcumin, essentially flushing it out of your system. So piperine slows down the body's natural processes for eliminating curcumin. This gives it a much longer window to be absorbed and actually get into your systemic circulation, meaning, getting into your bloodstream and traveling throughout the body where it can hopefully exert its intended effects. And look, this isn't just some supplement fairy tale nonsense. Reputable institutions like Johns Hopkins have validated this mechanism. It's solid science.
Okay, solid science. But are there any considerations or potential downsides maybe to boosting absorption so dramatically? Like, does it make curcumin too potent, or could it interact with anything else you might be taking?
That's a really excellent question. It gets right to the heart of critical thinking about supplements. Generally, with something like curcumin, which actually has a very high safety profile, increasing its absorption 20-fold mainly means you're getting more of the intended benefit from the dose you're taking, which is good. The main consideration, really, as with any compound that affects enzyme activity, is the potential for interactions, specifically interactions with other medications that happen to be metabolized by those same enzymes. But for most healthy individuals, the piperine boost is overwhelmingly seen as a positive thing for curcumin's efficacy. It simply helps your body make the most of what's actually there in the capsule.
Okay, got it. So we've got the piperine blocking that rapid breakdown, but you mentioned there's another player in this formula trying to boost absorption, MCT oil. Why include that? What role does the MCT oil play here?
Right. Well, curcumin is inherently fat soluble. It needs fat to be absorbed properly. Think about essential vitamins like A, D, E, and K. They absolutely require fat to get into your system effectively. So including MCT oil just makes perfect scientific sense. It provides that necessary fatty medium. Research consistently shows that consuming curcumin alongside dietary fats can increase its absorption quite significantly, often by, say, 7 to 8-fold. And this strategy works synergistically with the piperine. It helps bypass some of the initial liver metabolism, which further improves the delivery of curcumin into your systemic circulation, making sure more of it actually reaches the cells and tissues that might benefit.
Huh. So when you combine that high concentration of curcumoids, the piperine supercharging the bioavailability, and then the MCT oil optimizing the fat-soluble absorption, it really paints a picture of a scientifically optimized product, doesn't it? It sounds like they've genuinely put some real thought into how this compound actually works inside the human body.
Exactly. That's the thing. From a formulation standpoint, the blueprint here is, well, it's truly impressive. It's a formula that clearly follows legitimate science. It focuses on known mechanisms to overcome curcumin's inherent bioavailability challenges. This isn't just about throwing a bunch of random ingredients together like some kind of supplement confetti, just hoping something sticks. It reflects, I think, a deep understanding of nutritional biochemistry and even drug delivery principles, but applied to a natural compound.
Okay, now that we've sort of unraveled these incredible absorption mechanisms, it's probably worth revisiting why. Why has this compound, curcumin, gathered so much scientific attention in the first place? What are the core benefits that make this whole absorption quest so potentially valuable for you, the listener?
Oh, absolutely. Curcumin has a truly robust body of peer-reviewed research behind it. Really solid stuff. It supports benefits across several key areas. It's most widely recognized for its powerful anti-inflammatory properties. And that's foundational to overall health, right? It can be beneficial in managing a whole range of conditions where inflammation is a key factor. Beyond that, it shows significant promise for joint health, supporting flexibility, comfort. That's a major concern for so many people. But what's particularly exciting and increasingly studied is its potential impact on cognitive function, brain health. There was one study, for instance, that found even single doses of curcumin improved working memory and sustained attention within just an hour.
Wow, within an hour.
Yeah. Imagine being able to support your brain health with something derived from, well, basically a spice. The breadth of its potential is genuinely exciting.
Okay, all of that sounds incredibly promising, seriously. And considering a formula that's boasting such high curcumoid purity and these advanced absorption boosters, the price point actually doesn't seem unreasonable at first glance. We're talking around, what, $25 for 120 capsules? Initially, that feels like a pretty good deal for what, scientifically speaking, you could be getting.
It absolutely does seem like a good deal on paper. When you factor in those specific enhancements for bioavailability, the piperine, the MCT oil, that price point makes it quite competitive in the market. Many other high-quality curcumin supplements, even those without quite the same level of absorption optimization, often retail for significantly more money. So yeah, on paper, the value proposition looks strong. Really strong.
All right, so we've solidly established the supplement genius part of this. The science is, I think we can agree, undeniably robust. The formula makes profound sense. Now, here's where our deep dive takes a sudden, sharp, and frankly, kind of spicy turn. Because while that scientific blueprint is stellar, the real-world execution, as reported by, well, legions of customers, it tells a vastly different story, a quite shocking story, actually. This is where the theoretical ideal crashes right into practical reality.
This is indeed the dramatic pivot point. It's quite jarring. We move from the controlled environment of the lab, where everything looks great on paper, to the unpredictable world of logistics, shipping, customer service. And the contrast couldn't be starker. Microingredients, the company behind this seemingly great product, holds a startling 2.3-star rating on Trustpilot.
2.3.
2.3. For any consumer-facing business, especially in the health and wellness space, that's not just a red flag. It's practically a 5-alarm fire.
A 2.3-star rating is almost unbelievably low, especially for a company that appears, at least from the ingredient list, to be so scientifically advanced. What exactly are customers running into? What kind of problems are dragging that score down so drastically?
Well, the complaints paint a deeply consistent and, frankly, quite concerning picture of severe operational shortcomings, just fundamental problems. We're seeing widespread reports of, let's call them customer service nightmares. Common complaints include orders that just never arrive, poof, gone, zero customer service responses when people try to inquire about their missing orders, just silence, and products showing up looking absolutely demolished upon delivery. I mean, you picture someone carefully formulating this brilliant supplement in a lab, and then you imagine it arriving at someone's door looking like it, I don't know, survived a wrestling match with a bear. It's just,
Yeah.
wow.
Demolished, huh? That sounds less like a slow email reply and more like, yeah, a literal battlefield delivery. It's almost as if they're shipping these things via catapult, maybe? And then when you try to get help, you're just met with the digital equivalent of a ghost town. Complete silence.
Precisely. And it gets more specific and, frankly, more alarming than just damaged boxes. One customer reported receiving expired vitamins, not just close to expiry, but a full 6 months past their use-by date.
6 months expired. That's unacceptable.
Completely. Another individual recounted being charged for items they never even ordered, which is obviously a serious billing and trust issue. The recurring pattern that emerges again and again in these reviews is one of pervasive shipping delays, yes, but also just customer service ghosting, leaving customers feeling completely abandoned, unheard, and frankly ripped off after they've made their purchase. It truly undermined any faith you might have in the company itself.
Wow. Okay. And what about where these products are supposedly made? You hear a lot about transparency in supplements. The company website, I believe, proudly states USA manufacturing. But do customers' experiences actually align with that claim?
Yeah, this is another really significant point of contention that comes up repeatedly from reviewers. There are numerous claims from customers saying that the products are actually manufactured in China. This directly contradicts the website's assertions about USA manufacturing. And that kind of discrepancy, well, it can erode consumer trust at a really fundamental level, especially in a market like supplements where transparency and quality control are absolutely paramount. It just makes you question the integrity of all the information they provide, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And then there's the refund policy. You'd think for a supplement company dealing with something as personal as health, you'd expect some degree of flexibility maybe, or some kind of satisfaction guarantee.
You would think so, wouldn't you? But quite the contrary. Reviewers frequently highlight what they describe as an aggressive refund policy. Specifically, no refunds allowed once the package has been opened. Period.
No refunds if open.
None, which is an extremely tough stance for a supplement company. Think about it. A customer often needs to actually try a product for a period, maybe a few weeks, to determine if it works for them, or crucially, if they experience any adverse effects. This policy puts the entire risk squarely onto you, the consumer. It's a stance that many other reputable companies in this sector actively avoid. And it just further exacerbates the frustration when it's coupled with all these other customer service nightmares we've been hearing about.
Okay, so what does this all mean? For you, our listener, trying to make sense of this, we've explored this incredible scientific formulation, right? Backed by solid research, offering genuinely impressive potential benefits for your health, potential being the key word. And then we have this company, Micro Ingredients, whose operational reality seems to be, well, as we've heard, just a total logistical meltdown, chaos. How do we, as informed consumers, navigate this profound contradiction? It's tricky.
It really brings us to a crucial decision point. For you, the informed learner, the core conclusion seems pretty unmistakable. The formula itself looks scientifically sound, maybe even brilliant. Yet the company's execution appears to be severely, perhaps even fatally, flawed, just broken. So it presents you with a choice, really, based on what you prioritize most when you buy something, especially a health product.
It's a genuine dilemma, isn't it? Because on paper, the product promises so much. You find yourself almost rooting for the science to somehow win out over the chaos.
Precisely. And maybe for some people it does. If you, as a consumer, feel you can tolerate potentially sketchy customer service, maybe gamble on the shipping delays, accept a very restrictive refund policy, all for the sake of getting what appear to be genuinely good ingredients at decent prices, then maybe this particular turmeric product might still be an option for you. It's a gamble, though. You would effectively be betting on the science, hoping it outweighs all those significant operational headaches and risks.
But I imagine that's a very, very big if for a lot of people, especially, like you said, when it comes to something you're actually putting into your body for your health.
It absolutely is a big if, a huge one. If your priority lies with reliable shipping, knowing the product will actually arrive and arrive intact. If you value responsive customer support, clear communication, and just a transparent, trustworthy purchasing experience, then the consistent and frankly overwhelming customer complaints strongly suggest you should unequivocally look elsewhere for your turmeric supplement. Find another brand. Because the potential benefits of even a scientifically sound formula are significantly diminished, maybe even negated, if you can't reliably receive the product, if it arrives damaged or expired, or if you have absolutely no recourse for resolving any issues that might pop up. It really impacts the overall value proposition, doesn't it? The whole experience.
Yeah, it really does. And this whole situation raises a really important question, I think, for all of us, and maybe for the broader supplement industry too. How much does that robust scientific backing truly matter if the practicalities, the basics of a reliable purchasing experience are completely broken? It's clearly not just about what's in the capsule anymore. It's about the entire journey that capsule takes to get to you and the support, or lack thereof, you receive along the way. This case isn't just about micro ingredients. It feels like it highlights a growing tension across the entire supplement market?
Absolutely, you've hit the nail on the head there. It demands a new kind of consumer literacy, doesn't it? One that goes beyond just reading ingredient labels and looking at dosages. We have to consider the full picture. The science, yes, absolutely critical. But also the business practices, the operational reliability, the transparency, the customer care. All of it. How do consumers navigate a market where sometimes these impressive scientific claims seem to outpace reliable, ethical business practices? It's just we need to be just as diligent about researching the company as we are about researching the compound itself.
Right. So, to quickly recap our deep dive into microingredients turmeric, we've definitely uncovered an incredible scientific potential here. No doubt about that. The synergy of that 95% curcumoid extract, the piperine boosting absorption by that amazing 2000%, and the MCT oil enhancing fat solubility. It means this formula, at least on paper, is really designed for maximum impact and biological utilization. It looks great, theoretically. Yet the scientific brilliance is sharply, almost violently, contrasted by just overwhelming evidence of operational difficulties, shipping nightmares, transparency issues, and practically non-existent customer service based on review after review.
It serves as a very potent reminder, I think, a reminder that excellent product development, fantastic science can be severely undermined, maybe even ruined, by poor business execution. The information we've uncovered today presents a very clear and likely often frustrating trade-off for you, the consumer.
And this leaves you with a really interesting final thought to perhaps ponder on your own time. Beyond the ingredients themselves, beyond the fancy scientific claims and those impressive absorption rates we talked about, how much does a company's basic reliability, their customer support, their overall integrity actually factor into the total effectiveness or the true value of a supplement in your personal health journey? Is a scientifically perfect formula truly worth the hassle, the frustration, and the potential risk of a completely broken customer experience? It's a question we should probably all consider as we navigate the vast and, let's face it, often confusing world of health supplements.